Welcome to Sisters in Arms. I'm Kerrie Ann Auclair. Welcome. We are here to advocate, educate, and tell true stories about the true stories. And we're back with Mike Harris again. And we're going to actually do something fun this time.
Yeah.
So it's a little game. Ready?
Cool. I'm in.
If you lose,
I have to
you
resign.
lose. Yeah. No. All right, so the game's called live fire or misfire. So
Okay.
live fire means it's true, misfire means it's not true.
Okay.
And we're going to talk about a lot of things as we move on with this. Here we go. AR stands for assault rifle.
That is a misfire.
Yes, and what does it stand for?
Armalite rifle.
Armalite, which is a modern-day sporting rifle.
Yes.
That's all it is. It's a modern-day sporting rifle. It's probably one of the rifles that everybody attacks.
It's the most commonly used and owned rifle in the United States.
Yep.
Therefore, the world.
Yeah.
Because we own most of the guns.
And
in the world.
we had a fun shoot this past weekend.
Yeah,
this
we had a
past
blast.
week. It was, oh my God, it's so much fun.
Yeah, we had a wicked fun time.
Yep.
The Mass GOP at the North Leominster range. It was awesome.
Yeah, they did a great job hosting us, and
the guy,
so much fun.
And the guy brought one of the members brought an A5 patterned AR, and that was really fun.
Is that the one I was shooting all the way?
With the carry handle and the fixed stock and that thing.
That was so much fun.
That was a
Yep, I was getting
a cool rifle.
silhouette steel all the way in the back. How far away was that?
I think that's
It was 100,
I think
right?
that's 150.
150. That was fun.
I think it was like 50, 100.
And then it was what? An M1 Grant, wasn't
No,
it?
that was
What was the one
Jim's M1A.
M1A.
It's
That's
a
right.
308.
That was so much fun. All of them were so much fun.
Big bore.
So, anyways, big myth. Sorry, guys. Not assault rifle, Armalite. Just the brand.
Armalite rifle. Yep.
All right, next one. Live
by
fire.
Eugene Stoner.
Ah, see, you get the history in there. All right, so live fire or misfire. Can you open carry in Massachusetts?
Yes, live fire. Yes, you can.
Yep. I wouldn't
mean,
recommend it.
Not in public. I mean, like we were talking about a few minutes ago, you can, if you're out like doing yard work or whatever, I've done that before.
Yep.
I've open carried in my own property. I've LARPed around the house with the gun belt on, trying to make sure everything fit right, and my holster was right retention and everything. But I think open carrying in public is, you have every right to do it.
If it was
I
Texas,
respect the game.
we wouldn't have an issue because everybody carries.
Well, it's not even really about the reaction of other people. I mean, sure, getting harassed by a police officer who doesn't understand what they're looking at is a pain, but it's it also makes you a target.
Yeah, I was just going to say, because if you happen to be in a situation, they're going to look at you and be like, "Oh, she's carrying."
Yeah, and if you don't have the right level of retention in your holster, like if you're not carrying like a level 3 or something, or even a 2, like somebody could just yoink it from you. So I don't know.
I don't know what retention I have, but somebody was trying to take it out of my belt the other day to do something, and they couldn't get it out.
Well, that's good.
Yeah,
I mean, it's about so you have like the
little screws.
No, so the retention levels refers to like the mechanism. So like your regular like in the waistband carry holster has like retention based upon, if you have a light on it, it'll hold the light. If you don't have one, it holds onto the trigger guard.
Right.
And just like that's the click that goes in there. That's level 1 retention. That's
awesome.
just that. And then level 2 is I forget exactly what level 2 is, but level 3 has the cup that comes over and you have to flip it down.
have to, right.
Yeah, or like a
button. I have one that you have to push the button to pull it out.
Yeah, like that kind of stuff.
With the thumb thing.
Yep.
Yep. Unless you're training with that too, I wouldn't,
Yeah.
That's the whole.
So yeah, it's just different levels of. Yeah, I think that's level 2 of the button.
Yeah.
Like
So
a
a little quiz. Do you know what POGO stands for?
Pants on, gun off.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right. POGO.
I also know Amanda Suffolk.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't even know if that came from her.
Oh, she's the first person I've ever heard say that.
Oh, you know where it came from? Paul Lathrop.
Oh, that makes sense.
When I was on that show
makes sense.
with them. Yep.
Yeah, I mean they're students of the same school.
Mindset.
Paul and Amanda kind of come out of the same place there. Yeah.
All right. What is the limit for carrying a firearm and alcohol in your blood system?
So this one's this is actually something that we pushed for to be included in the new statute, and it's something that we were actually happy about being in Chapter 135. So previously, the standard was just being under the influence of alcohol, drugs, and as John always used to say in his classes, the vapors of glue. That one always made me laugh.
Oh, yeah.
But now the new standard is .08. It's the same as drunk driving.
Okay, so misfire malfunction. Can you have a firearm on your hip and drink alcohol?
Yes,
As long as
you
you're
are
not
above .08.
There you go.
It's one of those things like just know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like John always likes to say, he's like, oh, if I'm out at dinner and I'm having a beer, I'll still carry. But if
I
it's
go
my,
to the Mai Tai
night,
Friday.
yeah, if it's Mai Tai Friday, it's staying
It stays
home.
home. Can you carry in a restaurant?
But not to move on. But that's the whole reason why you teaching pepper spray courses and stuff is so important, because you can still carry pepper spray on your person if you're drinking. However, you cannot carry a taser because it requires you to have your LTC and
Right,
it's considered a firearm.
because Massachusetts law considers a taser a firearm.
Yes.
I told Dick Heller that last week,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Are you kidding me?" I'm like, "No, I'm not kidding you."
That's such a
Someone, so maybe you can answer this question, because someone asked me this. All right, so if I get a taser and it's considered a firearm, do I have to register it?
I think so. I think it
Is there a
probably needs
serial
to
number?
be serialized. Also, if it runs out of batteries or breaks,
You can't throw it
you
away.
can't throw it in the trash.
So what do you
have
do?
to turn it into the police department,
Oh,
I guess.
my Lord.
I don't know.
Yeah, because a couple
We don't-
people asked that question, and then someone else asked me too. All right, so if that's considered a firearm, I was able to get it online.
Yeah.
Do you see that? Yeah,
It's buffoonery.
it's buffoonery. You said something else, but we can't say that on the air. You'll just have to guess. All right. Do we have live fire, misfire? Obligation to notify, which means obligation to notify a police officer if you pulled over.
If you're pulled over. Strangely enough, no. We do not have the obligation to do that in Massachusetts. Depending on where your gun is in the car, if it's not on your person and you're reaching for your license or something, or if you have a gun in the glove box and you're going for your registration, it's probably a good idea to say, officer, there's also a gun in there, so that it doesn't fall out on the floor.
Fall out, you'd be like,
And
sorry.
and they think
Scare
you're
him.
going for it. So, just use your common sense, be courteous. But yeah, if it's on your person or whatever, no reason to.
I got pulled over because I supposedly wasn't using my blinker, but Mike heard it.
Yeah,
just
I
so you
heard
know.
it.
But when I got pulled over, that was the first time ever that I ever got pulled over, and I
you're
think
carrying?
30 years that I was carrying. And not that it was a big deal, but sometimes when I get in the car, if I'm hot, I will take off take off the top part, and I'll have like a tank top on. Let me just explain that. Hold on, back up. But I'll have a tank top on, and I'm open carrying. And not that it's a big deal. I would pull, if you pulled me over.
So are they.
Yeah. So there you go. But yeah.
But yeah,
So
I mean, it's just a common
again,
sense
if they asked you to get out of the car for some reason, then that changes everything.
Well,
you know?
if they're gonna search you or whatever,
Yeah.
they will always say like, "Hey, do you have any weapons on you? Do you have anything that's gonna poke
Yep,
me? Do you have anything
carrying.
like this?" And you just say, just be honest.
Right hip, appendix.
Yeah,
Yep.
and also like, if it's on your person, there's no reason to discuss it with anybody.
Right. It's none of your business.
But like I said, if it makes sense to tell them to keep everybody in the situation safe, then
Right.
let them know.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. And every situation's different.
Yeah.
So
Just use your head.
there's that. Use your head. Absolutely. All right. Live fire or misfire. Can you own a pistol not on the roster?
You sure can.
Can I?
Yeah. Well, so when we say pistol, you mean handgun. The roster, the handgun
Yeah,
roster,
so
you can't have like an
explain
AR pistol,
everybody what a
stuff like
roster
that.
is, because some people might not even
God.
understand that. For some
So-
of the non-gun owners that watch this show.
So there are a couple of rosters in Massachusetts, and then there is also a nebulous set of consumer protection standards that exists. So the roster refers to the guns that can be sold in Massachusetts. So it's an affirmative list of like, hey, these pistols, these types of guns can be sold here by an FFL.
Which is a gun shop.
Yep, a gun shop. So gun shops have different regulations from individual sellers. If you're a gun shop and you have a license to sell from the state, and you also have your federal firearms license from the state, from the feds, you can operate a gun shop in Massachusetts and sell stuff commercially. In order to stay within the bounds of the law in Massachusetts, if you are a commercial firearms shop, you have to only stock handguns that are on the handgun roster.
Right.
And there are two of those. There's the basic handgun roster, and then there is the competition style roster. They
Oh,
both
that's
have-
right. There's two different
Yeah, they
ones.
have,
That's right.
They have different standards, and
and
actually,
they have a roster for long guns as well, right?
no. So that was something that was included. We can get into that in a minute,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
So in order to sell pistols in Massachusetts, you can only sell off of those two rosters. And in order to be included on those rosters, you have to submit a certain
a big-
number of guns to the state for them to test and do all of these things to them, and then you can be included on the roster.
But it's an enormous process.
Yeah, it's a big process. We have an attorney who used to be on the board, Keith Langer, who's like an expert in that stuff. I really want to get him on
Oh, yeah.
the show at some point
we
to
should have him.
explain
Yeah.
what the process looks like. He's a guru on that stuff. But if you're a manufacturer, if you want to sell in Massachusetts, you have to submit a certain number of firearms to the state for them to test and do all these different things. And
Drop
make sure that
test
they're-
and
yeah, all
stuff like
kinds
that,
of stuff.
right? Yeah.
You know, they have to have certain features that protect consumers from stuff. But then the competition roster, in addition to all of the safety features that are necessary to be on the roster, there's also weird requirements where, like, you can't advertise it as anything else except a competition gun. Like if Ruger decided to, or what
The Victory.
If Smith & Wesson decided to advertise their Victory, if they made a compact Victory that's for compact concealed carry, it can no longer be a competition gun.
Oh, Lord.
For the purposes of being placed on that roster because it's used for something else. or
And I know this
advertised
is
a different
kind of
way.
going not off topic, but I know I've had a few people say, "Oh, I had to. I went and asked a gun shop to hold my guns because I was going through a rough patch, and then they did, and they weren't disclosed to them that those particular firearms were not on the roster."
All right, we
So
can get into
even
the
though-
sad stuff.
Yeah, even though they weren't necessarily selling it back to them, they
So
couldn't
it's-
transfer that
Yeah,
back
so it's
to them.
it's not about the sale, it's about the transfer.
Yes.
It's the legally you cannot transfer certain.
So they couldn't get those
firearms.
guns back.
So, and that's actually one of the things that we were most disappointed about with the new law. So one of the things that we brought up was, we kind of couched it in a veterans issue. If you're going through a tough time and you feel like you shouldn't have firearms in your house, we asked the legislature to kind of put a provision into the law that would say if you transferred them to somebody and you don't have family or something like that can take them, whatever you transfer to an FFL or to another shop or something, they should be able to transfer back to you.
Right.
They
didn't do
they,
it.
They of course said no.
Right.
They didn't include anything like that in there. So we're basically discouraging people from seeking help.
Right.
you're
Yeah,
having
exactly.
if you're having a hard
and
time.
they made it even more difficult because if you didn't want to give it to an FFL, but I could call you up and be like, Mike, you got to take these. I'm really going through a rough patch.
Yep.
And instead of getting red flagged, which is a whole nother program,
That's a whole nother- that's not
and
even
then
part
I
of this
give it to you
conversation.
now with the new law. I can only give it to you for 7 days.
Well, you can-
I
so-
can't even take it apart and give it to you.
Yeah, so they blocked every avenue of this,
Yeah.
actually.
So
I
they
mean,
didn't help anything.
no, so they didn't
made
help.
it worse.
They actually actively discouraged people seeking help. So
Yep.
you can only transfer person to person 4 firearms a year.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Including ammunition, but I don't know how you're going to track that. Come get it. So you can only transfer 4 firearms a year. So if you have more than that, and you want to transfer them to somebody to hold on to, you can only do 4 a year. So
That's
that's
crazy.
the rest of your collection gone. And also,
And God forbid if it
If
was like
you-
a
Yep.
antique or something
yeah,
like
stuff
that,
like
or
that. So But in addition to that, you can also only lend a firearm to somebody for up to 6 days.
Which is ridiculous.
Because if it crosses into the 7th day, you have to register the transaction.
And I know John did that with an AR so I can get more comfortable with it. I had to give it back to him in
It's
7
the
days.
stupidest
How
thing
am I
ever.
going to get proficient with something when I only have it for 7 days?
You're not. They don't care about that.
They
That's
don't
not what this was about.
Right.
This was about actively discouraging.
So, you know,
people
it's
from
kind of
being
funny
able to get
because the
stuff.
bill
It's
was
a war
like,
of attrition.
what was the name of the bill again? Or the law? It was an act of modernizing.
Oh, an act modernizing firearms.
Right,
I don't
but
even want to talk about that.
no, but they said, you know, safer making safer commute.
It's all a lie. It's a bunch of
Yeah.
HBS. But yeah, it's nonsense. It's all.
I'll put that in the description down below what that means, by the way.
It's a nothing. But yeah, so all right, we can go back. So in addition to the rosters themselves that are enumerated lists,
Yes.
there is also a thing in this state called the Attorney General's Consumer Protection Standard. It is an unpublished set of standards that does not actually include a roster where, in order to be sold, even if you're on the roster, in order to have your guns sold in Massachusetts at shops, you also have to meet these Attorney General standards. So back in the 90s, Scott Harshbarger established this under the Consumer Protection wing of the AG's office. And it's a whole new set of like features that is unpublished, like I said. Like you have to have certain types of loaded chamber indicators.
Oh, yes.
Certain, your safety has to be external, or you have to have an external safety, or like a 10+ pound trigger pull, or like your extractor has to look a certain way and work a certain way. So it's this like nebulous set of consumer protection standards.
That makes sense. That's going to make things.
But no,
yeah.
it was. But I mean, that's not the objective. And they were pretty open about that at the beginning when they were passing it. They were talking about how it would slow down the sale of the expansion of sale of handguns across the.
That's what they want to do.
Commonwealth.
They want to make it so difficult that you throw your hands up and you're like, forget
Yes.
it. I'm not
that's
doing
the
this
objective
anymore.
all the time.
I don't want to own a gun. I don't want to be. I don't want to own a gun shop.
Don't want to go through the process. Don't want to get the headache.
You know, that's a whole nother story too, because there's some gun shops that are going through a lot of stuff right now, trying to figure it out.
They're trying to put them out of business.
Yep.
That's the whole.
Yeah.
That's one of the points.
All right. So misfire or live fire. Do you have to go through background checks every single time you buy a gun?
Yes.
Every single time you buy a gun.
Yeah, I mean, unless you
So I
in
probably got
Massachusetts-
background checked. How many times? No.
Oh, God, I wouldn't even do that. But we were talking about this before too. If you go through the process of applying for and getting your LTC, and you purchase one gun in Massachusetts, not even a handgun or anything like that, anything specific, you can buy one gun. You've had 5 background checks. 5. I said 6 earlier. It's 5.
5. Okay, so let's explain that. You get your certificate. You bring it to the police department.
Yeah.
Walk through the steps.
So you go and you take your course. Mm-hmm. You get your certificate for your course that you took.
Yep. Prove
your
that you took.
your
Yep.
approved curriculum.
Yep.
You fill out your application, and you bring that to your local police department.
So where does the 5 background checks come
Your
from?
local police department takes that in,
Yep.
does an initial background check, their suitability check on you, which is just like, who are you in the community? What do you do?
Yep.
And then they send that to the state.
Then they do another one.
That's number one. So they send that to the state where you get a Corey check and an FBI check. And then once it comes back to the police department, they do another quick check on you to make sure everything's
see, I
up to
didn't even know
scratch.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they do a fourth, like just a wrap-up check, and then they will check you off the list, and
And then-
your license will be sent to the police department or directly to you. It depends on what that local police department does with it. So those are your 4 that you get.
And then you
when
get
do your
another one
background
when you
check.
get your first firearm.
And then if you go and buy your first firearm, they do a NICS check on you.
Yeah.
They also do a Mercs. I mean, I don't think Mercs really is.
And what
like,
does Merck stand for?
oh Jesus, I don't really remember exactly what it stands
Yeah,
for.
I
but
can't remember either.
It's the Massachusetts equivalent of
Right.
NICS, which is the
So
national.
we're the most
National
vetted
Instant
individuals, is what you're saying,
Yeah.
in the
Yes.
Commonwealth. And when I did that,
John's going to be disappointed with me that I didn't remember what Mercs actually stands for.
I
we
can't
were
remember
talking
either.
about this the other day. He's going to yell at me.
uh-oh, we won't show them this then. So we're the most vetted individuals, and that's
Yeah.
one thing that I did mention during the town meeting for my town, is I got up and explained the process. And there was a police officer that got up and said, what she forgot to tell you is, and he went through that whole process. I didn't know it was like 5 times before, so.
I mean, a license should be a license.
Right. I know.
There shouldn't be
But
like
I don't
weird
think people,
restrictions on
like
it.
if there's non-gun owners here, I don't think really people understand, and I'm going to go into this a little bit further too, because there was somebody that got up and said something about all these I hate that word, gun violence,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, what you're seeing online on the news and everything else, it's not gun violence. It's crime. It's
violence.
It's violence. But those violent people that are doing violent things are doing it with illegal firearms.
Well, it's also just like
Illegal firearms.
even
They're
if
not
you-
vetted.
But even if you have a license and you do something illegal with your gun, that it's still a criminal act.
Right.
You're still a bad guy.
Right.
I mean, I think our community is just very tired of being blamed for the actions of others.
Yep. Especially
that's
when the system's broken because they get arrested for illegal firearms, drugs,
and sent
it's-
back
and it's
over and over
back
again.
Out,
That's
back out
the
in the
stuff.
street. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so can any instructor give a certificate to an individual to get or apply for the license to carry?
I don't believe so.
No.
No. No, and they're actually only approved, only certain curriculums
20,
that are approved.
29, I think.
Yeah.
Yep. So
And you get a code on your certificate
Yeah,
that
so
you have to make sure
when
lines
I-
up with the code on the application.
on the application, so it's
Yeah.
LTC 007 or LTC 002 is
Yeah.
what I'm able to approve. So home firearm safety course or basic pistol course, both NRA.
Yep.
So when I got certified from John, he created me to be an instructor. Then I had to actually go and apply to the state
And
to
it-
be an instructor,
Yeah.
for approved instructor for the state to provide a certificate to a student so they can apply for the license to carry.
I mean,
and I
that's-
bet you there was probably another background check that was done then.
Yeah, of course. But I mean, you're a teacher just like any other teacher in the
Right.
state. You have to be, you have to be approved and set up to do it. And I always think it's very funny that blue states really, blue state politicians really hate the NRA and they're always the boogeyman and stuff. However, they have been the gold standard for training for decades
Right.
and have been treated that way.
Yep.
By blue and red states alike. I think that has always made me kind of chuckle to myself.
Yeah.
But
Well,
Yeah,
and it's
whatever.
like when I used to be at the school, I was a para, and then I volunteered for the school often. I was on the school council for 2-3 years. I was trying to get Eddie the Eagle into the school, and as
Yeah.
soon as I told him what it was, I'm like, it's the NRA, Eddie the Eagle. See a gun, don't touch, run away, tell an adult. Oh no, done. As soon as I tried to refuse to be a victim in there, which again is an NRA program that I'm certified to teach. Nope.
what? Real world skills.
I know.
I don't know. Like the Eddie the Eagle one, that always drives me crazy because it's not. It's
not.
It's for kids.
It's for kids to understand.
I mean,
I think they should add some other things in there, but I mean,
it's not a firearms education course.
Right.
It's a safety course. It's saying like, hey guys, you're not old enough to do this yet. You don't have the training for it. Here's what you do if you ever come across something that you shouldn't
or
be
if
seeing.
somebody has a gun in their hand,
Yeah.
you run away, tell an
Yep,
adult.
this is where you.
Right.
Yeah, I mean that's.
And they could save so many, and again, we're not saying that us law-abiding citizens are, putting guns on our table and being
We're
irresponsible.
not supposed to.
And no, you know, we don't. I mean, you don't hear that very often, but what you do hear is, you know, the city, and I'm not saying just the city, but you do hear some people that have maybe a firearm that was willed to them and they didn't realize the law, and
Oh, yeah, that
you know, and something happens and there's a firearm on the table, and it's giving the kids an understanding of what to do when they do see that. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But.
No, and I don't think the messenger should really be as important as the message.
Exactly. So I know we're running. I can't believe it's already like 5 minutes.
Yeah, that was fast.
That was fast. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
that was a lot of
That was a
fun.
good one.
I mean, we can go on, and I think we should use this for goal, because that's pretty cool. Last remarks before we leave, because I know there's a lot going on right now, and the Civil Rights Coalition is doing something. I think we maybe have like 3 minutes left.
Yeah.
We can kind of quickly talk about that. We're not done fighting this.
No.
We were successful in getting over 100,000 petitions together, which now made it so we can get it on the ballot for 2026 as a question. So now, when you go to the ballot booth, and I know you know, you go to the ballot booth, you look at your ballot, and you're like, oh, look at all these questions.
I think it's going to be question number 2.
I think, but it's and we got 2 minutes, so it's vote no.
Vote no. Yep.
Which is confusing,
Yeah,
we vote no on it.
I think you should have Toby on, and we should dive more into this.
Yeah, I think we're going to have
there's
Toby
a lot to this.
back, because, and all of us will talk about it maybe at a round table, because there's a lot of work that we need to do.
There's a ton to this. And
So.
and you know, this is just one front in this. I mean, this is like a million front war. I mean, we already talked about the local level where there's stuff happening with like zoning and the opt-out stuff. We're still lobbying the legislature to fix things. We have a whole bunch of lawsuits going right now, and then the repeal efforts. So I mean, we're pulling every lever that we can, and the repeal effort is just
And we
one of
need
them.
your help. So if you are a gun owner or not gun owner, pay attention, because this is a civil rights issue, and
it is.
we're going to explain why that is. But
All rights are worth defending.
yeah, that's right. So thanks so much, Mike. This was a lot of fun.
Of course.
Greatly
Yeah,
appreciate it.
anytime.
If you have any questions and you want to reach out, sistersinarms2022@gmail.com. Of course, if you have any questions with Mike at Goal, it's
MikeH@goal.org.
awesome. And then check out our website, goal.org. We have a lot of information. Thanks again. Stay safe. Keep vigilant.